Well, let's pick up on this really tragic story about Nehemiah Eaton. The 3-year-old died last week after her oxygen machines went flat during extended power cuts. Well, this week, while preparing for their daughter's funeral, her family had to suffer another blackout and they had to source power from their neighbours in order to hold the ceremony. eNCA's Heidi Giokos has more, and joining us in studio. I mean, Heidi, what this family has been through, it is unimaginable. Talk to me about how they're doing and what happened during the funeral.
It's very difficult for the family, Sally, and one can understand and imagine how difficult this is for them, especially because Nehemiah actually had a viral infection and she needed to be on oxygen just for a short period, just to stabilize her breathing. But unfortunately, last week, Thursday, the power did not return as expected and as communicated by City Power. And then they realized that her oxygen levels were very low. They rushed her to the hospital, but sadly, she died in her mother's arms on her way to the hospital. I think what's even more tragic is the fact that they did not have power since Monday, and they were planning for their daughter's funeral for Wednesday, which was yesterday. They had to go and send family members to other people's houses to get ready for the funeral service because they just did not have power. And the family just speaking about how this has all been extremely difficult for them. There have been comments on social media also alluding to the fact that, but why weren't these things charged? They had an inverter, they had backup oxygen. All of that went flat because the power just did not return as communicated. We got a chance to speak to her father today about this difficulty and this tragedy. Let's listen to what he had to say to us.
We had baby's cremation yesterday. We managed to give her a good send-off. It was really beautiful, although we didn't have power since Monday, which obviously put us through a whole lot of problems. I mean, having visitors up from all over the country and stuff like that. So, you know, we had visitors sleeping over at our place. And obviously with the power cuts, I mean, the backup power doesn't even help with regards to that. Everything runs flat. So, yeah, man, it's just a nightmare. So we had to go to friends' places to get ready for the funeral and the service and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how people are supposed to live like this. It's insane.
I mean, this is it's just beyond tragic. It really is such a sweet little thing, and just a precious little life just gone. And this poor family still dealing with power cuts while they're trying to say goodbye to her. There's been a lot of talk of suing the state. We know that Build One South Africa, Musi Maimane, he spoke to me earlier this week, and they've opened a case of culpable homicide against the state. The family is also considering legal action. Tell me more.
Yes, so the family has also made it very clear, Sally, and I think it's important to communicate this. They don't want this to turn political, and they don't want political parties to take advantage of Nehemiah's death. And it's understandable because at the end of the day, they've lost their daughter. No matter how much legal action is taken, it's not going to bring back her life. But what the family has communicated is that they are seeking legal advice, and they probably are going to take legal action against Eskom and the state. They, of course, do support or appreciate the support rather that they are receiving from political organizations and everybody else who has indicated that they would like to help in any sort of way, because they believe that this is actually not the first death. We've always heard about that there's been no direct link of any death linked to the rolling blackouts, but the Eaton family saying in actual fact, we believe there have been more deaths linked to this. So they are considering this. And just before we listen to what the family had to say, I just want to emphasize that we did reach out to City Power to get a response about this, about the constant rolling blackouts, especially in Randburg, Bromhof area. We were not granted an interview. Let's listen to what the father had to say about what their next plan of action is.
It's a real disgrace, you know, and just this morning I heard of other news of another girl whose machine failed and she died because of lack of oxygen. And there's another child that was shot in a protest, or electricity protest or something. Now, what I'm saying to government is I don't know if they don't understand what we're saying here. If we had the power and we were supplied our basic need, none of all these things would be happening. This is what we're saying. So you guys are creating and causing, or the cause of all these things happening. These kids should not be dying. You know, people should not be having life-changing things happening to them because you guys are failing at what you're supposed to be doing. You guys are failing. You all have failed, actually. You know, and you don't seem to be concerned, maybe because you guys don't go through it personally. You know, I'm sure all the ministers and stuff have their power at their places that they're not going to get cuts and stuff. So as long as they're not experiencing it, it's not a serious matter.
Yeah, that poor dad, that poor family. Thank you so much, Heidi Giokos.